Hi, James GK here, and this is time for me to finally put my money where my mouth is and open myself up to the terrifying prospect of failing at something I really care about. People have asked me for a long time what it is I want to do for a living, and I've always been embarrassed to answer truthfully. But I'm almost 30 now, so fuck it. I want to tell stories. I've always been infatuated with finding the narrative in everything, whether it was preaching or talking politics or acting, or even the drudgery of retail that I work now. I'm always finding the story. And until now, I just haven't had the confidence, the skills, or the tool set to be able to craft my own mediums and release it. So, I'm announcing today a major project. What I want to do for a living. What I want to do for the perceivable future. That Man's on Fire Productions, which is a real thing. I didn't just start calling myself that. State of Illinois actually recognizes me as a media company, so I'm serious about this. I'm announcing our long-term project, Renegade Saga. What is Renegade Saga? Renegade Saga is a character-driven, world-building project that Den and I have been developing for several years now, and it's kind of taken a life of its own. Renegade Saga has a world with an extensive history, and a narrative that spans several generations of characters. So what I want to do is take the overall narrative that we have established, and carve it down into 6 chunks. There are going to be 3 lore-driven sections, done in a more stylized animation, with heavy novelization aspects to the storytelling. There are also going to be 3 sections dedicated solely to the main storyline. The way it's going to be separated out are the lore sections are going to be Renegade Saga, the Pioneers, the Rebels, and the Mutineers. The narrative sections are separated as the Underdogs, the New Kids, and the Outlaws. Right now, we're only going to be focusing on the first section of each group, so the Pioneers and the Underdogs. The Pioneers is going to follow the development of the Jajanese Empire that we see throughout the main storyline. It will focus as Jajan, a small island nation, became a powerhouse, annexing the much larger nations around it, Sunwoo, Jakarta, and Shizu, to become the 4-nation empire, and then eventually annexing Gao to become the 5-nation empire we see during the course of the story. As for the Underdogs, as I've said, our narrative is highly character-driven, and so we're going to be focusing heavily on 6 POV characters. Lys et Gaza, an architect paragon, J.I. Series Unit 11, a construct also from the Architect Society, Ira Ledoux, an avian within the Garuda Empire, Satra Seni of Clan Seni, a resident of Gao, Sisavang Sejong, a citizen of the Jakarta region in the 5-nation empire and soldier of the Jajanese military, and Valiant in Combat Gompion, another avian of the Garuda Empire. Ideally, I want the narrative aspects to feel more like traditional animation. So they are going to require a lot more work, and actually, in the long game, a lot of outside help. Eventually what I'll be looking for is I'll need voiceover artists, recording artists, people who are good at crafting and implementing sound effects, because I'm really not. And mainly, just kind of your attention and support. When you have it, feedback, and of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, liking and subscribing, or following me on Twitter, or Tumblr, just really anything to let me know that I'm not just shouting out into the void. I play at confidence, but honestly, looking forward and seeing what I have to do, I'm going to be my own biggest obstacle in completing these. So, any support that I can get, it means the world to me. Thank you so much for your attention, and I really hope that I don't disappoint.